That's as good as it gets right there.
Hi, I'm Mike Deming, host of Sportsman's News Television. On this episode, we're in northwestern Saskatchewan at Tazin Lake Lodge. You know, this is a lodge my pops used to come to in the 90s and early 2000s. They used to just catch tons and tons of big lake trout, lots of pike. This place is under new ownership. We've had the pleasure of meeting them, and we're up here to evaluate them to become one of our newest platinum approved outfitters. So we know there's going to be some great lake trout fishing, some good pike fishing. We've heard the chef's world class and the combinations are pretty good, so stick around, should be an exciting week.
Oh, nice. Oh yeah, man, look at that fish! That's as good as it gets right there.
Northern pike and lake trout. Lake trout in abundance, anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds in abundance. As we just witnessed a little while ago in the 43, 40-inch range. I'm not going to say frequently, but quite often. Trophy trout anywhere from 40 inches and up. Like, you know, like a trophy in many lakes is 30 inches, but here predominantly 40 inches and up. Depending on the girth, an average of 30 to 35 pounds. Yeah.
How old is one of those fish?
I was told originally when the fish spawn, the first year or two, they'll grow approximately a pound a year. After that, because the water temperatures are so cold, it's half a pound per year. So when you get a 35-pound fish, that's an old fish. Yeah. Like you're looking at approximately 80 years old. So yeah, it's hard to believe when you put it into human perspective. Yeah,
sure.
And northern pike are the same. Because the water temperature is so cold, and their metabolism is a lot slower.
Nice.
He can catch them and he can net them. Typical lake trout. Nice.
Yeah, baby.
Good for you.
Oh, that's a slob. Oh my God. Look at that friggin' thing.
Yeah. Nice fish. Attaboy. As good as it gets right there, boys.
Tazin Lake has such big fish in it because it's in what's called the special management zone. The lake has never been commercially fished and never can be. They set it aside back in the 30s to set a model aside to tell what a lake would be like if it wasn't commercially fished. We practice and maintain catch and release at the lodge here. We just keep enough to eat shore lunch, and some days we don't even do that. We just have sandwiches. You know? At Tazin Lake Lodge, we supply the guest with loaner tackle if they choose not to bring theirs. Typically, we try and keep the weights light on the plane, so we have everything that is needed, from heavier trolling rods to lighter spinning rods, casting rods, all the tackle as well. And basically it's use as part of the trip. Free use for you. You just have to, you know, if you lose a hook, you just replace the hook from the tackle shop that we have here. If you have a favorite lure, by all means bring it up. But you know, other than that, we'd love you to use the gear we have here. It's set up and ready for our fishery. Knots are tied and tried, true, and tested.
Well, we'd like you to experience the whole lake when you come. I'd like you to pike fish. I'd like you to go catch lots of, like 100 fish in a day type of thing. Wear yourself out. I'd like you to catch a great big one, 35, 40 pounder, whatever happens to be coming up that day. I'd like you to just experience the whole lake, not just concentrate on one specific thing. We fly out of Fort McMurray, take off from the airport there on an amphibious caravan. Actually, it holds 5 people and 6 sometimes if it's crowded, and mainly you're limited to 45 pounds, somewhere in there, 50 pounds of luggage, just because of the type of aircraft that we have coming in. So you would get on your aircraft and fly up from Fort McMurray. It's an hour and 3/4 to an hour or to 2-hour flight. Land on the lake and enjoy your week. There's always the best time, like the first part of July is always the best time as far as my experience here has gone. I've never not gone on the lake and caught fish though, so is there a best time? Probably first part of July, but the rest of the time is equally, or maybe not equally, but every bit as good.
Nice. How big is it?
36 and a half.
Nice.
This is a very unique area. I've never seen anything like this. Even as myself coming from Saskatchewan, I've never seen, you know, no one would know that mountains are in Saskatchewan unless you come here. People don't talk about this place. It's very off the map, hidden up in the corner, literally. It's an old mountain range. You can see it's very similar to Rockies, but they're all rounded hills. They're worn down, they've been weathered and worn down, but this is a mountain range. Making this really unique, the drop-offs and the depths of this lake. Like, this lake might only be 40 by 12 miles at the surface, but the layers that it has of 40 by 12 are incredible, because the deepest places of this lake are 400 and 500 feet, and there's lots of that deep water. So a lot of deep holes, and well, if you look at the mountains here, the valleys and the holes that you see on top are also underneath. Those fish have a lot of territory, a lot of places to live, huge pods of all classes of fish swimming around out here.
great pleasure. Good French fries, good fish. Just a good trip.
You know, it's been a great experience at Tazin Lake Lodge, and there's a lot to like about being here. It started really with the flight in, my first float plane flight. It was an amazing view, an amazing arrival at a magnificent lodge on a beautiful bay with a sandy beach. It's just been really great. My perception of fishing up here was that it was going to be miserable and cold and very hard fishing. And instead, what I found out is that it's beautiful weather and that the guides are very helpful and get you right on the fish, and there's been no misery involved at all.
Another nice Laker. Tazin Lake Lodge. You gaining on it, Queen? This could be our cover photo.
All right, clean up.
Yeah, the kid! There's your mounter, Queena. That's as good as it gets right there. Say something, Queen.
It's probably the 7th or 8th time I've been here, and there's never been a bad trip. The history is usually the weather's great, the fishing is fantastic, the personality of the people that work the lodge, the guides. Never had a bad guide, never had a bad cook, and it's changed hands, new hands now. And Mikey gave us a chance to come this year, and we couldn't ask for a better trip. Still great fishing, good camaraderie with everybody that came, and it's the best time of your life, and it's so quiet and beautiful. And in all the years I've been here, there was never a day that we could not go out fishing. There's so many islands and stuff that the waves do come up. It's nothing like the other lakes that you get blowed off. You can always fish here. It's just a fantastic place, and I can't say enough about it. And I'm sorry my brothers didn't come along.
There he is. Oh my goodness.
Right there.
43. 43? Another 43? Okay.
That's a nice big Tazin lake trout.
Look at the gut on that thing.
Beautiful fish.
Fish pretty big too.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time I've ever been here, and the lake is every bit what you know, the owners have told us it was. It's very deep. You got a lot of shallow areas. You have access to deep water. You have an extreme amount of bait fish, and that's what produces these very large lake trout that we've been catching here this week. You know, our group here has boated 18 fish that are in the trophy class, and you can't ask to do any better than this anywhere. One thing that's unique about Tazin Lake is it has a lot of islands, and if you fished in the Northwest Territories or even further up, you're basically fishing in what I call an ocean, and you have bad winds, sometimes you can't go out. That doesn't happen here. The guides are excellent. You know, the food's excellent, the accommodations are good, and the equipment that they have here for your use, if you choose not to bring your own, is just absolutely fantastic. They have the right lures, they have the right nets, and they're huge nets, so they net these fish and keep them in the water. They're not stressed, and you can get a good picture, put the fish back in the water, and that's a very important thing to do here because this is a resource, and it takes a long, long time to grow a 40-pound lake trout, or 50 or whatever you get. It just takes a long time to do that. These guys are very conscious about taking care of those things, and it's just absolutely terrific.
Yeah, that a boy. 43. Hold it. Oh, nice. Really nice.
Oh man, you should have seen that thing come. It looked like a carrier following that battleship that we already had. Nice.
So what do you think about pike fishing up at...
Pike fishing is pretty hot, man. Tazin Lake Lodge.
Dude, look at the size of that one. Rena, turn around and look, both of you. Awesome. Awesome.
Go in reverse. Oh yeah, baby, look at that fish. That's as good as it gets right there.
How'd that feel?
Felt good. Workout.
Boy, that thing seen it coming on the finder and said, oh, get ready, one could be coming. She's just like, oh, all of a sudden, bam! Right on. Woo! Good job. Good job.
My first time at Tazin Lake, I thought it's going to be cold, bugs are going to be bad. I'm probably not going to have much fun. I was totally wrong. Been awesome. And then you catch them and come up and they get heavier and heavier and heavier, and then you see them and you go, wow!
Hey, thanks for joining us on this episode of Sportsman's News Television. Up here at the 60th parallel at Tazin Lake Lodge, you never know what to expect when you're going to some remote camp like this. I mean, you could get something really bad, or something really good or anything in between. I can tell you right now, these guys are as good as it gets. They're one of our newest platinum approved outfitters. I mean, phenomenal fishing here. We caught huge Lakers, big pike, phenomenal food. Accommodations are just everything you can expect. Great boats. The guys have got world-class tackle, something you would expect to see in the lower 48. So, you know, I can't say enough great things about these guys. They know what they're doing on this big water. We've had a great time for 7 days. If you're looking for a world-class trip, give the guys at Tazin Lake Lodge a call. You won't be disappointed. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Sportsman's News Television. Tune in next month. We'll have another great show for you.
Sportsman's News Television is brought to you by Vortex Optics, the force of optics. Sitka, turning clothing into gear. CVA, it's just a better gun. Bushnell Trophy Cams, bulletproof reliability for life. Double Tap Ammunition, handcrafted, American-made precision ammunition. St. Croix Fishing Rods, the best rods on earth. And by Jumping Jack, from trailer to tent in 5 minutes.